Hello. This is a video that I found on YouTube by accident. As I've been studying black history and also studying history in general, I stumbled upon a broadcasting company, or we call PBS, of Minnesota. They're called TPT. And just like you have various wonderful episodes on public broadcasting station PBS, this one's called Identity. Black Minnesotans. Now, Minnesota, of course, is famous for Prince. If y'all know who Prince is, you know how powerful Prince was, and unfortunately he's passed on. But Minnesota, unfortunately, his 2018 study has said that Minnesota is the worst place in the United States to live for African Americans. I just finished watching a video called The Northern Jim Crow, and where it talked about race covenants and how Minnesota was one of the first just to create what we call race covenants, which separated black neighborhoods or people of color from what we call European or white neighborhoods. The term redlining came into play. And so we're gonna watch a video called Identity, Black Minnesotans. Thank you for doing this. Appreciate that. Let me know.
In addressing some of the challenges facing the black community, the issue of children of mixed race poses difficult questions, and the dilemma of such children from white and black parents is further complicated by polarities that exist between the two races. So who do these children relate to? Are they black, white, or somewhere in between? Margaret Harrison's parents argued frequently about racial issues and eventually divorced, and that's when her struggle for identity began.
You said that your parents argued, mostly over racial things. When did you begin to notice the difference in race in your parents?
After they got divorced, like my little brother and I would go out with my dad, and he would come to pick us up because he had to visit with us, and a lot of times my brother didn't want to go because he was really connected with my mother. And I always wanted to go, and I remember a time when we were in the car and my brother said, you're black like your dad and I'm white like my mom, and I want to stay with my mom, and I wanted to go with my dad. I told him he was just like me, because he is. He's just as black as I am. When we went camping, me and my brother, we went to Canada with my stepdad and my mom, and we were playing with some French kids, and one of the kids asked him what nationality he was, and he said he was white and Indian. And I said, no, you're not, you're black. And he got really upset. And I went up to Mom, and my mom says, he's Indian. He can say he's Indian because he's Indian. Even my mom didn't approve of what nationality I was. Like it was okay to hide it.
When Margaret's mother remarried, she moved her family from predominantly black North Minneapolis to an all-white suburb. That's when Margaret experienced problems in school, where she felt other students were hostile to her mixed racial background.
Everybody I went to school with was white, and the kids used to put tags on their chairs, and used to call me half-breed. They liked to pick on me, and I would guess it was because when they asked me what I was, I told them I was half black and half white. After I told them that, I felt ashamed, and I didn't understand why kids didn't like me and why they treated me the way they did. I thought there was something really wrong with me. They didn't educate us on black history or anything like that in school. There was no information out there for me to even be looking at to grasp for. I couldn't even concentrate in school. All I could think about is what's wrong with me. I used to ask my mother lots of questions, and she got sick of answering my questions, and so pretty soon I just stopped asking her questions.
Questions like what?
you know this is gonna get emotional.
Like, who am I and what's
So
going
sorry.
on, you know?
About the pain in
I
this
talked
girl's
to
heart.
my dad, but she didn't like to talk about my dad at all.
Listen to this. She hates it.
And I
Ex-husband.
wanted to know what the other side of me was about. I wanted to know where I was coming from and why people looked at me the way that they looked at me, why they looked down on me.
While they look
You
down
looked
on
at
me.
yourself in the mirror as a child. What did you think?
I hate when they ask these emotional questions.
I wish my hair was straight and I looked white so that I would fit in with the people.
That's sad. But blame her mom.
So, what your brother was openly proclaiming, you kind of wanted too, really?
Of course.
Is that true?
Because I didn't have any
Because you wanna fit
background
in.
of my black culture. I didn't have anything to keep feeding me and to be proud of who I was. It was always something to put me down.
You hear what she said? Always putting her down.
Margaret's conflicts with her family and schoolmates resulted in her running away from home.
So you see why she ran. You got a mom that, even though she dated, married a black man, had 2 children, she hated black people. Because the only way you can allow your children to say that they're not, to not invalidate the fact that they're half black and half white, is that you hate that race. Even though you had sex and created 2 children out of a marriage union. This video I put out to all of my biracial friends, because I have a lot of friends that are biracial. And I hear this story over and over again from biracial friends. And because I'm a male and I've dated biracial women, I've heard it from biracial women just like her. The reality is she's both. But in this United States, only in the United States and in Europe, you will probably see this. Because of racism, because of prejudice, slavery, and the history of it, Europeans abhor that she's both. Remember, we got to go back just 100 years ago and understand that people were lynched for actually having intercourse with someone of the white race. If you're a black male, you were lynched. If you're a white female, you were probably, I hate to say it, probably just abhorred. So it was kept undercover. It was kept in quiet. Now today, we have a lot of interracial relationships, and millions of couples that are in this relationship don't actually understand that they need to really be prepared and need to start talking out these issues with their boyfriend or girlfriend before they have a kid. It is so unfair to have a child and you and your boyfriend or girlfriend have not talked about these deep issues, especially if you're in an interracial relationship. So this video is for any of my friends that are in an interracial relationship, specifically black male, white female, or white female, or vice versa. White male, black female, but the majority of the time it's always going to be, and we see, it's going to be black male, white female. It's an important conversation.
Two separate occasions, which left her brother feeling abandoned.
My father always said, take care of your brother. So I always took care of him. I taught him how to read and write before he got to school. I didn't care about what he thought. I just took care of him. Before I left home and ran away, he told me, don't ever leave me again. Please don't leave me. If you leave, I'm going to run away and find you. When I came back, he didn't really say much to me. He doesn't speak to me a lot. He doesn't speak to me about the past or anything.
Her brother stopped speaking to her after she ran away a third time to New York City, where she got involved in prostitution.
eventually is what I ended up doing for a little while because I had no income. I didn't have any place to live. I'm in the middle of New York in the middle of winter. And I ran into this guy and he took care of me for about a year and a half. And then I was out on the streets. He got busted and went to jail. So I had this habit of doing cocaine and I was out on the streets.
Wow.
I didn't have any place to go, so I just kept smoking cocaine.
Wow.
And then I ran into Sam. And he used to give people money to drag me down the stairs from the coke places. When they'd take me in his car, he'd drive me far away and he'd rent me a hotel room and tax me. And then I'd end up back over there. He'd come back down there again, chase me, look for me somewhere. He kept coming back for me, trying to save me.
Sam finally did save Margaret by moving with her to Minneapolis, where the two of them have lived for the past 2 years. But Margaret continues to struggle with her identity and feels parents in similar situations could do more to help their children understand their backgrounds.
I think the parents should be able to explain to their children and never say they won't answer any of their questions. I think the parents should instill pride into their child about who they are and tell them who they are.
Sounds powerful, right? And this is a very short.
Stephanie and Kenneth Saffold work very hard.
So we'll stop there. And I will say a couple words. God loves all people. But he has created multiple races. And with that being said, every race wants to be proud of their identity. So the hardest part about being a human being is to be proud of your race, at the same time not hating another person's race. Well, there are certain groups of people in this world that do hate other races. So if your child, your daughter, your son gets and marries or has sex and creates life with another race, the anger and resentment and the vitriol can be tremendous. In this young lady's life, you saw that she ended up going to drugs because the mother, who hated herself, obviously, because she hated her children, when she remarried, because she was white, she probably married a white man after she had married a black man. And then what ended up occurring was, of course, the children, if they didn't accept and acquiesce to their white mother's side, they were ostracized. And the daughter, being a woman, loves her daddy. I don't care what you say. Every girl wants to love their father. They want to be daddy's little girl. So daddy's black, they're going to go to their black side. For boys, it's opposite. They love their mother. It's kind of a known thing in sociology, in psychology. And so if you have an interracial relationship and you have a boy and a girl, you're going to see that split. What was sad about this case was that the mother and the father did not have a strong relationship. Because even if a divorce occurs, you still should have an amicable relationship with that spouse or ex-spouse. When the mother said to her, "I don't want to ask you any questions," the daughter got tired. And the relationship with her mother probably has been destroyed to this day. Maybe God can heal it. I don't know. But on the other side of the coin, the father. What was the father like? She didn't go in depth to talk about the father and explain him and his upbringing, education. All that's important. And so we know finances is the number one deterrent to breaking up marriages. Then they add the race on top of it, and now it's ticking time bomb. What breaks my heart is that when you look at the young lady, you're going to automatically see a woman, for most male eyes, as attractive, exotic. Oh, look at her hair. Look at her slender frame. Look at her skin tone. She's not white, but she's not black. And it is a very unfortunate, it's a really bad, unfortunate place because it puts a lot of girls that, and I've seen so many girls that look like her. I mean, it's automatic. You have an interracial relationship, and they produce a daughter. If the two adults are good looking adults, they're going to produce someone like this. But as you can see,
I talked to her about my dad, but she didn't like to talk about my dad at all. And I wanted to know what the other side of me was about. I wanted to know where I was coming from and why people looked at me the way that they looked at me, why they looked down on me.
And so whose fault? I raised to you viewer, whose fault is it that this young lady who's biracial knew her mother's side, which was white, but they knew her father's side? In my opinion, it's her father's fault. But there's a lot of black men who hate themselves as well, so even though they date someone outside their race, they never study their African history. They have nothing to show or teach. That's why I say, black man, study your past. Don't just study what was taught in school. Go beyond that. Get into the library. Get on the internet. There's history out there for you. There's knowledge out there for you. You are not inferior. Read Deuteronomy 28, the book, chapter 28. Read the whole first 5 books of the Bible. Find out who you are. You're more than just an American. So much more than just color, black, Negro, whatever term they give us. Unfortunately, if you don't know that knowledge, you hate yourself, because you already know that those here in the United States hate you, and so you can't tell your daughter who's half you who she is. And of course, what does that mean? That means that she grows up hating you. Because if she doesn't take pride in who you are as a father, as an African American, as a person from the Africa diaspora, she's going to hate that side of her. And that's why she decided to go out and do drugs, sell her body,
When you looked at yourself in the mirror as a child, what did you think?
and notice how he frames that question, which makes it so emotional, on purpose.
I wish my hair was straight and I looked white so that I would fit in with the people.
So, what your brother was openly proclaiming, you kind of wanted too, really?
What a question, what a question. That's not even a good question. The reality is that because she grew up in Minnesota, and the fact that her mother was raised and wanted to live in Minnesota, lived in North Minnesota when she was young and moved down, that's where the blacks were, and then moved down to South Minnesota in the suburbs, she on purpose knew the divide that was there. And I say shame on every mother who decides to have sex and make children with another person of another race. and then take your child and move to a place where the only side of the house they see is the people that look like you if you're a white woman. It destroys your child just like this girl's been destroyed. And maybe never, because what she ended up doing, she moved to New York, which is the worst place to go, of course, but everybody tries to go there. No money, no education, nothing. So what do? You sell your body because you got your beauty. And those men out there come to destroy you. And then what happens next after that? You go, come back home. She ended up, of course, marrying or dating somebody who was African. Because, again, she understands the beauty of African-American man. But does she understand his gifts, his talents? Not just to play basketball, dunk, or run a football, whatever. But who he is. And again, most girls that are biracial, and most white people don't study black history. So they already come into a world where they don't even believe a black person is superior in anything other than athletics or entertainment. But the reality, God gave all ALL races gifts and talents. I'm not trying to preach pro-blackness or pro-whiteness. What I am saying is that if you are dating someone that's of another race, you must have these conversations. You cannot allow yourself to just live in ignorance, because your children will die as a result of it. Die inside. That means emotionally. And that's not the way God wants it. I just want to give a shout out to one of my beloved sisters who's biracial, and she lives in Oklahoma. And I pray that she meets and marries, that she understands the love of both races, her side and the black man's side that she picks, and that they bring children to earth that are equally balanced. Because it's so hard in this world, if you're ignorant of who you are, to raise your kids in wisdom and knowledge and truth. This is Mr. Howie signing out. May God richly bless you is my prayer.
Because I didn't have any background of like black culture. I didn't have anything to keep feeding me and to be proud of who I was. It was always something to put me down.
So sorry, baby. I'm so sorry. Baby.
Margaret's conflicts with her family and schoolmates resulted in her running away from home on 2 separate occasions, which left her brother feeling abandoned.
My father always said, take care of your brother. So I always took care of him. I taught him how to read and write before he got to school. I didn't care about what he thought. I just took care of him. Before I left home and ran away, he told me, don't ever leave me again. Please don't leave me. If you leave, I'm going to run away and find you. When I came back, he didn't really say much to me. He doesn't speak to me a lot. He doesn't speak to me about the past or anything.
Her brother stopped speaking to her after she ran away a 3rd time to New York City, where she got involved in prostitution.
Eventually is what I ended up doing for a little while because I had no income. I didn't have any place to live. I'm in the middle of New York in the middle of winter. And I ran into this guy and he took care of me for about 1.5 years. And then I was out on the streets. He got busted and went to jail. So I had this habit of doing cocaine and I was out on the streets.
So what kind of guy she picked?
Didn't have any place to go, so I just kept
jail.
smoking cocaine. And then I ran into Sam. And he used to give people money to drag me down the stairs from the coke places. And then he'd take me in his car and drive me far away and he'd rent me a hotel room and talk to me and then I'd end up back over there. He'd come back down there again, chase me, look for me somewhere. He kept coming back for me, trying to save me.
Sam finally did save Margaret by moving with her to Minneapolis, where the 2 of them have lived for the past 2 years. But Margaret continues to struggle with her identity and feels parents in similar situations could do more to help their children understand their backgrounds.
I think.
So this, I want to say before I go, I've talked about 25 minutes. What if your parents can't do anything to help you? What if they're ignorant? I mean, that means uninformed. What if they're uninformed? They just don't know how. What if you were conceived and born out of lust? What if your parents had you and really you were just an accident? And of course, they try to make it work, but like a lot of relationships, it don't. And now you have a single parent mom who doesn't love herself, much less her baby's father. And now you grow up in this world. A lot of people grow up in this world like that. And so I say to you, if you fit that qualification, you need to go around people that love you. You need to go to a city that will accept you. Don't stay in Minnesota or any city like that where it's predominantly European and racist, and you know it. Just because your family's there, that doesn't matter. You are where you live. You are the place you hang around. You live in a racist city, a racist environment where you have to choose as a biracial person. You're going to always choose the race that's the most dominant in that particular area. So if you're biracial, you're going to choose the European side. But you leave yourself out and miss out on the other beautiful side of you. Again, not every couple that's interracial creates children correctly the right way, where they both love each other and they both sat down and thought and planned your existence and made you in love, and marriage and in love. A lot of times it's made by accident, just by having sex. And the sad part about it, you got to deal with the burdens, because your parents may never ever say to you the truth, even though you deserve it. So my heart goes out to anybody who's had to grow up in that kind of environment as a woman. Because I can see that woman right there. I see that in a lot of women. I see that that pain and that hurt in a lot of women that are non-biracial, that are same race. But in biracial children, it's a lot harder because you're not fully accepted on either side. And parents that make children in that need to really seriously talk about this. And I say, brother, you're a leader. If you're dating someone and your girlfriend don't want to talk about this, leave her, man. If you're taking someone and your boyfriend don't want to talk about this, leave her. I'm going to show you a video, guys, before I go. Now, I want you to go watch. So Amazon Prime. I stumbled upon it by accident. It's called Love Is Not Enough. He got a lot of awards. Came out in 2017. And the couple, the actors, right here, Saquon Jones and Erica Ryan, they're the actual directors, and they're also playing in the actual movie. And it talks about New York City or Chicago or any major metropolitan city. A couple, the guy's, he's from the African American or DNA, going back to the Caribbean. And then the girl is Jewish, which really she's European, or probably German or some country up north. And they are married, and she loves him. She chose him. But there's deep pain in this man's heart because he feels like he's not being true to his race. So he decides that he's gonna what? I want you to watch the video. Let's watch the trailer.
Justice or else. What does that mean? Everywhere I go, ask me, what does that mean?
What do you think was worse? The Holocaust or slavery?
I mean, what do you mean, what does it mean? Haven't you seen what I see on that screen for yourself?
Charles, what's this shirt about?
But this shirt?
No, this one.
We need justice. Then they say, yeah, we need justice, but what you mean by all else?
Man, I can't just see what's going on in this country and do nothing.
Yeah, you're right.
Well, we mean justice or else we're gonna withhold our wealth.
True to myself, you have a white girlfriend. No matter what you think of me, my man is black, and if you keep talking slick, I'm gonna make him.
It's insane to do the same thing and expect a different result.
I don't want to leave here, man. What options do I have? I feel like I've turned my back on my own race with this marriage.
The same ones who made us slaves is the ones we keep asking for help.
But quick question. What's up with your white girl? We're not good enough for you no more.
Now ask yourself, how you gonna win fighting in the court when the ones who commit the murders is the ones who write the reports?
You know what, maybe if you looked at us as individuals, instead of a collective, you'd be a better police officer.
All the lives we done lost, the tears we done cried, the promises was made, all the years they done lied.
I have to defend myself to you? At home and out there to everyone else? I mean, people staring at me walking down the streets. Moms at daycare asking if I adopted him, your black baby.
Cops don't even get fired for choking us on camera. But we worried about Black Friday and taking pictures with Santa.
We're a good family. It makes me want to leave this.
I will always love you. We are forever. But you don't know what it's like to see every negative image in this country be a black man. And the one that embodies none of that decides to marry a white woman.
Wow. You can overcome. Interracial couples can overcome. You can win. But you must be armed with knowledge, and you must communicate, and you must come to clear agreements. And sometimes you won't have a full agreement. But the Bible says, how can two walk together except they be agreed? And a regular marriage of within the same ethnic group has hard times. We know this makes it even harder when you mix different races. So it's clear and honest, not just in America, but everywhere, that this is something that needs to be talked about, that needs to be addressed, and that we need to be serious about. And so I want to say thank you for watching. I hope that this has been open your eyes. Hope you watch the movie on Amazon Prime. May it bless you. And as I'm endeavoring to grow and to become a better man in my relationships, may it be with the person God sends my way. I don't want to hate interracial couples. I don't want to see them fall apart. I believe that we all have the right to pick and choose who we want to marry. But at the same time, we also know that there's going to be battles. People are going to not like it. And you have to decide whether you're strong enough to fight or be like this couple and quit. Don't quit. Fight for your relationships. They're hard enough to make anyway. Fight.